the session, please feel free to share them in the chat box. We'll take up during the Q&A segment that we'll be having at the end of the discussion. With that note, let's jump straight into segment one. So segment one is basically we are focusing more on the post 22nd September implementation, what changed and how it's working. In this segment, we'll be discussing on GST 2.0, the most significant reset to India's indirect tax framework since 2017. Following the 56th GST Council meeting on September 3rd, 2025, the Council approved various reforms aimed at simplifying rates, easing compliance, and speeding refund. Many of the headline changes take effect from September 22, 2025. Many teams are asking the same three questions: which rate change for us, which supplies turned exempt, and what should we do with the ITC we have already taken? Right? The goal here is not to debate policy, it is to be practical. We'll talk through the biggest changes, the quick wins to stay compliant, and the tricky areas that can cause disaster later if we ignore them today. With that in mind, Sudhir sir, the first question is for you. Post 22nd September, which two or three changes are creating the most immediate impact for the clients?
Yeah, Hardik, I think uh, 22nd September is a very important milestone for the compliance with the GST law because there has been remarkable rate changes, especially for those people who are there in 12 and 28 sector. So there is going to be a huge change in terms of realigning their classification and implementation of the new rate. So a couple of things which is important is that there is a requirement for each one of you to assess every product and check what the rate has been. The new rate is going to be there with effective from 22nd of September. So there has been a misconception that the people who are there in 28 and 12 only may have to be bothered, and the people who are at 18 or 5, they need not bother. But actually, if you look at, there are few products even from 8 that the rates has been changed, or 5 to exemption has also happened. So don't be relaxed saying that it is only for 12 and 5. Each one of you have to look at all your products and see what is the new rate which is applicable and configure. So this would be one important task each one of us has to do. Second important task would be to look at how your ITC is going to impact, especially where the goods has been exempted. You may have to reverse the input tax credit pertaining to the stock which is there as on the 22nd or 21st September, as the case may be. So this is the second action point which is been required. And the third one would be is that intimation to your supply chain, the rate which has been changed, and how they need to configure it in their sales and distribution. That clarity also has to be required. Fourth, of course, is something which is very sensitive, is that passing on the benefit to the customer. Although there has been a theory that it can be legally fought, that even though you are not passing on the benefit, you may still be able to uh, be compliant with the law. But at the same time, the entire philosophy is that indirect tax is a tax which has to be borne by the recipient. So any plus or minus should be to the account of the recipient. This is general law which has been there. So considering this, one may have to look at how they have to compute their sales price or the MRP and pass on the benefit. So these are the few action points that may have to be required in view of the changes which is proposed with effective from 22nd September. Hardik, you are speaking on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, sir. Very well pointed out. Taking one of the part of that topic, which is related to the rate cuts, Ashish, sir, with rate reduction leading to a potential inverted duty structure, how do you see the litigation playing out? There has been certain precedents, but the circular says otherwise. How do you think now it plays out?
So, Hardik, I think very well pointed out by you. In this effort of government to reduce the rate of tax on many sectors, certainly it is not possible that their raw material or their vendors or their inward supply rate of tax may not have been reduced. So this could possibly lead to inversion in many businesses, which hitherto were not covered in the inversion or inverted duty structure. So this question of you, let us see it in two parts. First is with respect to inventory held as on 21st, where the rate of tax has been reduced from higher rate to lower rate. And second, subsequently, when as a supplier, I will be buying certain goods or manufacturing certain goods where earlier the rate was, let us say, 18% or 12%. Now it has been moved to 5%. And I may possibly in future come in the inversion. So let us deal with both these aspects separately. First, like what you rightly said, the government in their FAQ issued on the council meeting date itself has relied on one earlier circular to take a view that in these cases where the purchase has been at higher rate of tax, but sale has been at a lower rate of tax due to change in rate of tax, in all these cases, inverted duty structure refund may not be admissible. While that is the view expressed by the, I would say, more of a CBIC rather than the council, that view may not find support from the language of the section, which does not put any restriction. It simply says where the rate of tax on inward supply is higher than the rate of tax on outward supply, refund should be permissible. And the same thing applies for the, I would say the similar view has been held by the various High Court, including by Guwahati High Court. But the problem is going to be that it may not be possible for small businessmen, small traders to apply for the refund and litigate with the department. Certainly, people having larger accumulation could possibly certainly will look for this route of claiming refund from department. Okay, while they will try to utilize also input tax rate against the future liability. But whenever anybody will be going for refund, that would certainly result in the denial of credit at the lower level, where one may have to then fight it at the higher level. This is with respect to inventory held as on 21st. Let us say if I move to a future regime where a company which is in the FMCG manufacturing, where the items have moved to 5%, there could be possibility of that substantial item on their inward side have also been taken to 5% or maybe exempted. But there could be possibly packing material which is at the rate of 18%. So technically that company will be entitled to claim the inverted duty structure refund. But what we have seen in the past that when you apply for such cases, department tend to deny the benefit that your principal inputs are not at the higher rate. But I think there are sufficient jurisprudence to that effect that refund should be admissible in these cases. So the challenge what likely could come is that the number of taxpayers who were filing inverted refund application earlier, vis-a-vis post 2.0, there is going to be at least 4 to 5 times jump in the number of taxpayer filing for IDS, and with that jump, these type of interpretational issues or nuances at the lower level could certainly come, and also that formula of 89.5 that itself has various element to compute the refund. So all those things possibly certainly could lead to various litigation, while the one good thing that the council has said that basis the risk matrix, the provisional refund would be given is in IDS cases also within 60 days, within 7 days. But we have to see to what extent these guidelines are implemented on the field level, whether the department officers still take some flimsy ground to deny the benefits. So let's see, hopefully it becomes a smoother regime for the businessmen to claim the refund from the department in future.
Yes, sir, we truly hope, and thanks for simplifying the ideas conundrum. Other than the above, further the GST rates getting reduced and for some item getting exempted, there are a lot of questions around what happens to my ITC now. For the rate reduced, do I have to proportionately reduce ITC, or for the items getting exempted, do I have to fully reverse my old ITC? So, Sudhir sir, in that case, what are you advising on the ITC reversals where the supply turned exempt on or after 22nd September?
Sudhir, you're on mute.
Sorry. Hardik, it's a simple mechanism as far as the GST is concerned. You are paying on output, you can enjoy the input. If you are not paying on the output, you are not eligible for input. So that is a simple mechanism how it goes. There has been a technical framework for that, but that is what it is. So now once a product you have paid for tax and in future you are claiming an exemption, you will not be eligible to take input tax credit. And there is a specific provision in section 18 which requires you to actually compute and reverse the ITC which is there on stock which you are going to exempt. And henceforth anyway you are not eligible to take the credit, but because of this stock also is not there. So this is having another challenge of your cost getting increased. So earlier you had purchased a goods at 100 rupees and you had paid say 5 rupees of GST 105, and you were selling at a margin of 5 rupees at 105 to the customer plus taxes you have been charging. So now what happens is that the product cost itself will become 105 and you want to still make the margin, you have to sell it at 110 without the GST being charged on that. So this is what very important which we need to look at. And many cases where the margins are low of the particular product, it happens something between a distributor who is an intermediary between a manufacturer and a retailer who works on volumes and have a very small margins. So there, this impact of passing on an exempted goods and also reduction of the rate may not be possible. So you will pass on, you will sell the exempted goods, but on the transit stock, you may have to embed the stock which has been there. Unless until you want to revert it back to the manufacturer, get a new stock with a new MRP and sell it, that is a different story. Otherwise, nobody can escape a reversal which has been required, which is mandated by the law.
Great, sir. So that is one dispute that we see. And Ashish, sir, other than above, what early dispute do you anticipate from the rate shift?
So, Hardik, the objective of government certainly is to reduce the dispute in this entire 2.0 by way of simplifying it. And we must congratulate government for taking various steps in that direction. But whenever anything of this sort of mammoth, I would say, reform takes place, certainly there could be some accidents also along with that. Okay. So some of those things, if I just touch upon what could have possible dispute raising by the department in the future, certainly one could be like Sudhir took example of exempted supplies. So many of the items which are subjected to compensation cess today, where there will be no compensation cess tomorrow, let us say motor vehicle and all those things. So as a dealer, I might be having inventory of the goods with me, having compensation cess balance also in my credit ledger, but that compensation cess balance may not be equivalent to the tax paid on the inventory lying with me. So in these cases, what section 18 subsection 4 says, that if your balance in credit ledger is less than the inventory available with you, then the differential amount of tax you may have to pay in cash. So this brings a big challenge for the business, that on one hand they are not eligible to utilize their cess balance, but incrementally if they are required to pay this differential amount in cash, that could very significantly affect their profitability. So there are certain some interpretational aspect into that, but all those things would be in the litigation. Second, I'll take an example of, let us say, hotel industry, or more so I would say in service sector. When we look at, government has tinkered the rate, but with each rate tinkering, there are some condition or other conditions. Okay, so in some cases they have said 5% without ITC. In some cases they have said 5% with ITC of the similar line of business. In some cases 5% you can take the full input tax credit. So now let us take example of a hotel which normally is less than at 7,500, but sometime during the peak season could be more than 7,500 also. So in this case, what the new provision says, that for less than 7,500, it would be 5% without ITC. So for that particular hotel, which has been operating in both the segment, So once it crosses 7,500 in restaurant, it has to compulsory charge 18%. So in all these cases, the question will come for the hotel that how to apply Rule 42. While for the room rental, he is charging 5%, but in the same restaurant, if the guest is taking food, it will be 18%. Should he offer it as a composite package or should it be offered as a separate line item? Any of the past input tax credit, which I could not avail till 21st, if I avail in the next month, whether that would be subjected to Rule 42 or not. So like the sector where this type of exemptions or without ITC aspect has come, all these type of possible disputes likely to be there. Third thing could be this itself, this time of supply principle. So where it happens to be for the goods, I think law is a bit clear. But services, where it happens to be continuous supply of service. Okay, so many time while the section 31 provides how to determine your time of supply, but there are no separate change in rate provision for continuous supply. So what should be my milestone, whether I'm raising invoices for milestone or not, all those things. And last but not the least, again a question comes. What if there were certain goods supplied in the past which are returned, like what Sudhir took an example that I might be having surplus credits or I might have gone to the exempted category. So can I return the goods to the supplier? So certain people might have tried to raise the credit note without underlying movement of the goods. So in all these cases, the department is likely to have a closer scrutiny for all cut-off transactions. Okay, so as a businessman, we have to be very clear that while we are moving to this simplified regime, our documentational trail, our tax position, everything what we take, it should be conscious in line with the law and should not be on the flimsy ground. So these are some of the possible dispute area, Hardik, which could come in this
Yes, sir.
context.
Yes, sir. Thank you for correctly highlighting the sensitive areas which we should be taking care now. Somil bhai, I'm sure you must have gone through all the above processes and have evaluated each and every aspect since you look after such a gigantic conglomerate. So, after all the evaluation, what were the immediate steps that you took for tweaking the SOP, implementing in prices, looking after the ERPs and the PO terms? Can you broadly highlight something on that?
Yeah, sure. Hardik bhai, first of all, thank you for inviting me as a guest panelist. So, as explained by Ashish and Sudhir, that it would be treated as a second Independence Day of GST, 22nd September, and it would be like treating as a 7 years anniversary of GST, that what we have made efforts at the time of July 17, that all efforts we have to do again at this point of time, the pretty advance when this announcement has been done at that 15 August by Honorable PM. So already that date has been already been arrived and almost 2 days have been left. But being a giant conglomerate, almost along our 37 business verticals, we are being hit by almost 15 to 20 view verticals, where our 5% and 28%, 12% and 28% rates have been fallen. And for that, we have pretty educated all view verticals about this drastic change. As far as that conducting lots of webinar and seminars are concerned, we have approached each and every view verticals in respect of the same change, along with our techno-commercial teams regarding that necessary price negotiation with our respected vendors. And as far as that changing of the pricing in our final products is concerned, we have sat together with our BD team to derive the final prices, where we have not able to get the credit of few product, like in our power plant, we are not able to get that credit of sales. Right now, we are able to get the credit on that part when we are selling the flyers. That needs to be reconsidered, that ITC will be eligible. As Aziz Bhai has said, that the auto industries, few ITC earlier we are taking, but right now we have been shifted to again 5% for hotel rooms. Again, that ITC restriction has been imposed. Now we need to redesign the rates of that hotel rates. So there are lots of business scenarios where zigzag ITC restriction have been flipped. We need to set with that every BD department for redesigning the final prices so that even though that anti-profiteering measures are not there, but no one customers can say that we have not passed that GST benefit. Apart from that, our customers, as far as our vendors negotiation is concerned, we have constantly been in touch with our vendors so that necessary benefit of GST can be passed on to Adani entities. And the third and last, that maintenance of this rate in our SAP ERP, that is a tremendous huge exercise. So that is being taken care by our IDT compliance team, and we have also briefed them about that what kind of rates need to be demolished, like 12% and 28%. So that is a huge exercise. So hope every big conglomerates of might have went through this exercise since 10 September. But it's seems a pretty long exercise for 1 month ahead of the 22nd September, since lots of open POs needs to be foreclosed or maybe necessary correction needs to be given. So for a gigantic conglomerate, it's a drastic change from the point of view of the vendor negotiation, from the point of view final costing of end product, as far as that technology shift.
Thank you, Somal bhai. A follow-up question to that, since it is a very big organization and there are so many people working on ground for you, which you have to guide them and which you have to educate them because of the changes that has been done or being brought by the GST 2.0. How did you handle all the ITC blocks, unblocks, the communication to the various business units that are there in the organization? So what education did you roll out from a industry perspective? We wanted to know.
So Hardik, hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So as far as that spreading of the knowledge of this restriction of ITC, where earlier is not available and right now it is available or vice versa, we have conducted almost more than 10 seminars with respected view verticals where this decision is to be taken regarding that availment of ITC. And at a group level, we have floated lots of SOPs and lots of, you can say that, process docs, so that appropriate knowledge needs to be reached ultimately at that ground level persons who are into day involved in deciding at the time of creation of purchase order. So it's a huge and tremendous exercise, and almost we have upbringing this knowledge to each and every related person of this conglomerate.
Yes, thank you, Soumya. It is really fantastic to see how quickly turnaround that you have done in the company and educated everyone. So we have a perspective from a CA firm, we have a perspective from a industry now. Pallav, since you are from a tech company, so you have been connected with multiple clients on ground. What are the changes that we are seeing in the industry from the tech perspective? If you can throw some light on it.
Uh, Thank you so much, Hardik. Uh, while the official notifications tell us one thing, what's happening in the ground in the boardrooms and finance departments is often a different story. So based on the conversations that I had with CFOs, tech heads, and the finance teams, I see three major shifts happening in the industry due to the GST 2.0. The first one being a paradigm shift from a compliance to a crisis management. So I'll specifically, mention pre 22nd September. GST was largely seen as a compliance function. Like now almost everyone is settled in terms of filing the returns, reconciling the data sets, and then generally keeping things in order. The recent implementation changes which has been introduced by the GSTNs, especially the rate rationalization and the exemption of certain services like the health insurance have completely changed the scenarios. So, for many large enterprises, it's a compliance crisis, I would say, in terms of they have to ensure that whatever changes and whatever upgradations that they have to do at their master levels needs to be done ASAP. The focus has shifted from how do we file our returns to how do we absorb these changes and without disrupting my existing billing system, supply chain cycles, and my existing scenarios. So on the ground, companies are, managing tasks of updating thousands of SKUs, their corresponding GST rates in their ERP systems. A single misstep can lead to, notices that end of the day, if you file anything wrong, you will get a notice. The biggest pain point that I'm hearing from whatever discussions that I had with the various customers, it is the risk of penalties. Now businesses are, extremely nervous about non-compliance during this transition. And like I was just reading to a news on the very first day of the GST 2.0, more than 100 complaints were raised by multiple taxpayers. So they are more, nervous in terms of being non-compliant during this transition, and they are looking for solutions that can offer real-time automated checks and balancings to prevent costly mistakes. The second major discussion happening around is the rise of system-triggered notices. So, because I have to ensure that I make this relevant changes ASAP, if I'm not doing now, it is not that once you file the returns, once someone examine and then only you get a notice. These days, you get a notice even after you simply file your GSTR 3B within next 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You get a system generated notice. It is like kudos to the GST and network team, wherein they have created such an sophisticated infrastructure. You get notices immediately. So what this means is for our clients, it is the volume of notices that they are receiving, they are skyrocketing these days. These aren't manual notices, it's a system generated notice. Um Due to this, and this is something in most of the cases or wherever I have some interactions pertaining to the litigation management, wherever I see, most of the cases they maintain all these litigations in various Excel sheets. Now, think of a scenario when you are getting multiple different notices and having multiple different GST and IDs, how difficult it is for the team to maintain everything manually off the tracks. So it is one of the major challenge. The third challenge, again linked to the litigation, is litigation management is becoming a board level concern now. So, the most significant shift that GST litigation today, it's no longer just a legal department issue. It's major financial risk that now being discussed at board level. When I talk about board level, CFOs are worried more about the financial exposure. Every notice represents a potential liability, a blocked ITC, a penalty, or a demand for interest. Without a clear real-time view of all pending notices, their potential financial impact, it's going to be, we cannot even say it in terms of how much it's going to impact. The next one is the demand is no longer for a tool but a strategic partner. A very interesting conversation I was having 2 days before. With this continuous changes and shifts happening, now it is more evident and more important for everybody to have a single source of truth rather than having scattered data sets. Uh, we have seen people maintaining multiple different systems, multiple different files, which eventually leads to some mistakes. Why? Because they are not updating things, they are not maintaining things as per the latest mandates and the notification shared. So it eventually leads to a single source of truth wherein you can manage your entire GST compliances right from your return filings to reconciliations to e-way invoice generations and even the litigation management within a single platform, which eventually will ensure or which you can eventually say that GST, it's a GST compliance ERP system and not a GST compliant tool. So yeah, like of course, whenever we talk about meeting a customer for some new things, they clearly say, nahi abhi to 2.0 आया है, तो my entire team is, bogged out in those updations and everything. So we are pretty much occupied. And the major change and major shift that they have to do is definitely into their ERP and source systems to ensure that they do not, end up into some wrong data sets sending to the authorities, which eventually leads to notices.
Thanks, Pala. That was a very different perspective, and you have rightly set the tone for our next segment, which is around the litigation. So, the segment two is more about the GST 80, which is the Goods and Services Tax Appellate Tribunal, the readiness and the appeal discipline. So, it is India's dedicated forum to unplug the GST dispute and bring consistency to the rulings, right? The think of GST 80 as a middle step between the first appellate stage and the High Court. That is a good news for certainty and speed, but it also means the process and timing matters more than ever. If we are clear on which orders are appealable, which bench has jurisdiction, and the exact filing sequence of forms, pre-deposit annexures, and verification, we save time and reduce risk. If we are not, we risk missing limitation dates, we get objections or weak submission. As Pallav rightly highlighted in the last answer that he said, that it is more of a board discussion now. So these are to guide the participants who are there in the webinar attending with us. At the high level, what is GST 80 and where does it fit in the ladder?
See, GSTAT is a judicial forum for getting your GST dispute resolved. So, tribunal as a system has been formed to ease the load of the High Court. So, I can say it's a subsidiary to the High Court, which has been there, but it cannot replace an High Court. So, but it is a subsidiary to the High Court. That is how the system has been introduced. So, coming to the GST Appellate Tribunal, actually, any law, the Appellate Tribunal should have been formed by now. Any law would have been having much ahead. But due to various challenges in the way the constitution was there, because it was being challenged in the High Court, the tribunal functioning in GST has been delayed. So how a GST is going to be formulated, we have to understand that there is going to be a two benches. As most of you are aware, GST, there is a CGST and also an SGST, where the revenue goes to the center and the state government. So what they have done is that they have looked at national bench and its branches, which is going to be called as a regional bench. And the other set of benches is being called as the state bench, and their branches would be called as an area bench. So the two tribunals which is going to be formed. Now the question comes is that why so much of things are there, how it is going to be there. So as far as the national bench is concerned, it has been formed to take the disputes where one among the notices is also having a place of supply. It is very important that the place of supply determines which state will get the revenue of the GST. So GST has been charged. If place of supply is Maharashtra, Maharashtra government is going to get the revenue. If it is Telangana, then Telangana government is going to get a revenue. So they want to remove the biasness of any of the state bench hearing this matter, that when they are hearing the matter, they may be biased towards the revenue of that state where the bench has been constituted. They want to remove that bias and they have given this task to the national bench, which is going to be heard at the national interest for everybody. So now a notice which has been issued may be having various issues, 5 to 7 issues, and one among that issue could be place of supply. Even then it goes to the national bench and the national bench is going to hear all the 7 issues. It is not that they are only going to decide on place of supply and send this back to other bench. So once it forms a jurisdiction there, they are going to look at everything. Or if the notice is exclusively only for place of supply dispute, then it will go there and get settled there. So this is the national bench. Now national bench is been formulated in New Delhi. Now everybody cannot be able to go to the New Delhi. So what they have looked at is they are putting up a branches of the national bench, which is going to be called as a regional bench. So what I am expecting as of now, the news has not been there and clarity has not been there. But overall, the expectation which is going to be there is that there is going to be a 3 regional bench in addition to the bench in Delhi, covering the 4 parts of India, north, south, east, and west. So there is going to be another 3 regional funds that could be eventually formed, not maybe on the day one. Day one, there could be only as a Delhi. This is about the national and its regional benches. Now, every state will also be forming the state benches which has been there, and all the disputes which has been arising out of the matters other than the place of supply in that state will go to the state bench, respective state bench. So any orders which has been passed in the state of Andhra Pradesh, so the matters will go before the Andhra Pradesh state bench. Now, there could be also a very large state like Maharashtra, UP. So there are very large states where it becomes difficult for having one single bench. So take an example of AP, continue to take what AP told. So AP would be having also a branch in Vizag, Visakhapatnam. The principal bench of the state would be in Vijayawada, and the Visakhapatnam will be having a what you call as a area bench, which is a branch of the state bench. Now, each bench will also notify which is the geographical area which this area bench is going to cover. And all the notices which has been coming, which has been passed in that geographical area, you have to go to the that respective bench. So this is the broad what you call the constitution of how the bench is been functioning. I will also take 2 minutes and also explain how the members are going to be sitting. Maybe yeah, maybe I'll take it a bit later. So yeah, this is the broad level, high level.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, that place of supply point was apt. I don't think so many people would be aware about it. So thank you for pointing out that excellent example for giving us a perfect understanding. And Ashish sir, this GST 80 was going on since a long time, right? It was like abhi aayega, but it took a while for the government to uh, roll out and give the provisions and the e-filing forms and everything. There has been many confusion around what would be the limitation period. So what are the limitation periods for filing the appeals, right? What are the options for us for the condonation, and what document must be ready from the day one itself for this?
Yes, Hardik. So, like what you said, the GSTAT is almost 7-8 year old child, which is yet to take the birth is yet to take place. So, if you look at from GSTAT time limit perspective, overall, what the earlier law, if we talk about, there used to be certain time limit for the tribunal or for the sestate before whom you could have filed the appeal. And for the condonation, there was relaxation. The tribunal, in its own wisdom, could have granted condonation even there was delay in filing the appeal. But in terms of GSTAT, because today we are in the 25-26, many of the taxpayer would have assessed from 17-18 till last year, where the matter might be pending at various levels, either at adjudication or the first appellate authority, or maybe first appellate authority has already passed their order and the matter is pending to go before the GSTAT. So what the law says, that any order which you want to appeal before GSTAT, appeal has to be filed within a period of 3 months from the date of serving of the order against which you want to file appeal before the GSTAT. And there is a condonation period maximum of 3 months. So in GST, tribunal is not going to have any power to condone beyond the period of 3 months relaxation what is provided. Now technically many challenges could come. So let us say my order was passed on 17th April 2022. Another person order might have been passed in 24. How to compute the time limit and all those things. So considering all these aspects, what the council in the recent council meeting has taken a view that any order which is passed till 31st March 2026, that is almost 6 months from today, The time limit for all those order to file appeal will be till 30th June. Means even if your order was passed in 2022, or maybe it is passed today, or maybe it is passed in March 26, for all those cases you can file appeal till June 26, 30th June 26. Any order which is passed after 1st April 26 by appellate authority, first appellate authority, in all those cases, the time limit of 3 months will start from the date of serving of the order. So that is basically, I would say, in terms of the time limit, what the government has proposed. But very important condonation part, where I would want to highlight, because many people have failed to file the appeal before the first appellate authority within the 3 months. And the irony is that whatever your matter could be strong on merit, but if you have not filed appeal within the time limit, you can't get the relief. And many high court have already taken a view that there is no power of, I would say, when the law specifically provide for certain time limit, then time limit should not be relaxed. Maybe in some of the cases where the genuine delay was there or genuine concerns were there, high court in their writ jurisdictional power has given that benefit. But now if that person wishes to go to tribunal, GSTAT to get the benefit of condonation, he cannot claim it. At the same point of time, going to tribunal, and if somebody delays beyond that 3-month condonation, he cannot get the benefit. So one has to be very prompt, get all the documents readily available, keep the appeal also prepared, whatever orders have been in the past. So once the appeal acceptance process starts from the government side, it should be filed ASAP so that there are no challenges in terms of appeal being rejected on time bound.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for clearing the air around the confusion that most of us would have had. That is for sure. Somil bhai, I'm sure the GST being operational would be, much needed relief that you would be looking forward to, because there would be many matters that you would be going to the GST. So, does GST bring relief for the pending tax matter that you are handling, and what are the best steps that you have decided to take in the near future?
So, Hardik has very well explained by Ashish ji and Sudhir ji that it's a judicial forum which is not as equal high court, but it is not uh, lesser than the high court's mindset. So, being a taxpayer, being IDT professionals, being a conglomerate of a tax set of doing a job in IDT, we have envisaged lots of positive rulings in pre-GST era coming from that SESTAT. So we also expect good clearance on that technical aspects from GSTAT, and there are lots of gray areas there in the GST. So we expect that honorable judicial members of the GSTAT will clear the air between the lines and provide that clear pictures of the interpretation. As far as the Adani Group is concerned, certainly we have so many appeals uh, which will be filed before Honorable Tribunal, and we have already made ourselves ready for the same. And every conglomerates have decide their own strategy in terms of the preparation of the same, and get themselves ready for the tribunal. For each and every states right now, only out of as Sudhirji have explained that 72 area base state benches are there. Almost only 42 state benches have become operational, almost. So as and when that state benches become operational, the window to file uh, the appeal before tribunal will get open. And as explained by Ashish ji, that timeline has been stretched to 30th June 2026. However, conglomerate should not wait for that last minute deadline. They should get self ready for that preparedness and file the appeal once that GSTAT will be formed.
Correctly pointed out, we should not actually wait for the deadline of 30th June. And since you are having, you are envisaging a lot of volume of the notices and appeals, right? So how are you planning to, maintain it? Are you resourcing people or are you depending on a tool which can do all these things for you? Remember the limitation dates, remember have the previous all the records available with you in a tool, and then you can go to the appeal for preparing the document. So how are you envisaging that?
So certainly, it's a very much needed in this uh, most critical compliance country like in India, where that compliance is like a symbol for any conglomerate as far as that financing is concerned, or maybe SEBI guidelines is concerned, or maybe uh, interest of the investors are concerned. We need to do compliance of every notices in a very diligent and timely manner. So to fulfill those requirement, we should not depend on any manual or Excel activities. And certainly we have showed trust to the Signet team. And in last 1 year's marathon exercise, that whatever we have relied on their expertise and along with the joint development, we have successfully handling these notices through one software, that is Signet software, and we are quite happy for that. And we are handling at Adani level more than 1500 GSTN. And before that, we are handling in a manual manner. Right now, we are very much quite confident to handle those litigations. As far as that resources are concerned, certainly to manage those notices, resources are gradually reduced. However, we are expecting much more innovations in terms of the preparation of the notices reply, so that gradually dependency of the same can be reduced.
Thank you, Samuel bhai. So we also look forward to delivering all your expectations that are there. Ashish sir, Sudhish sir, due to paucity of time, can we quickly move on to the demo of our tool and then we can take up few Q&As? Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Palak, can you help with the demo?
I hope the
Yes,
screen is
Palak,
visible.
yeah, it is visible.
Okay. So this is the login page of our tech stack platform. Uh, you Once you log in, you will be able to see the litigation management module within the application itself. Like we were discussing earlier, that now people are looking for a single source of truth. So we have all the GST compliance related modules within a single platform itself. So from here, you will be able to see all multiple different options like importing the data, dashboards, doing the reconciliations, managing the notifications, filing the returns, and a module called litigation management. Now, once you click on the litigation management module, you will be able to see all the notices which are currently available, and you will also be able to see the various stages of the notices and details. As a first step, you need to sync the notices from the GST portal. So you simply need to sync from the actions. You simply click on the sync notices. So through APIs, the application will start syncing the notices from the GSTN portal. And once the data is available, you will be able to see all the notices in the listing screen itself. Now, the most important aspects of the tool that we have currently developed and confident enough to, boost about it, is the auto fetching of details from the notices. So once we get the PDF copies of the notices into the application, the platform will automatically capture all the relevant details which are there within the PDF copy of the notices. So we have incorporated an IDP technology which will read the details from the PDF copy of the notice, and the same will be made available. So if you simply click on the view details button, you will be able to see all the relevant details which have been automatically captured from the PDF copy by the application itself. In the details section, you will be able to see what is the current status of the litigation, what are the various case details, the unique case IDs, GST IDs, what is the type of the litigation, the basic details, then the overall summary of what is the tax, interest, penalty, fee, and any other charges if there. Um, the next step is the issue categories. So from once we are done with fetching of the notices, you will be able to tag issues from the here itself. Currently, you will be able to maintain a master of issue tags, and we are also proactively working on auto identifying the issues. From here, you will be able to see all the list of issues which has been mentioned. You can simply assign an issue and proceed ahead. Apart from this, let's say if you want to reopen a closed issue, you can simply click and reopen an issue over here. You can mark a closed issue from here itself. While marking you, if you want to also mention whether this will be, if you got an order within your favor or unfavor, you can simply select from here itself. You can also draft various replies within the application itself, and you can send it for your peers to review it before you submit to the government authorities. If you want to log any updates, so for any in many instances you have to visit a specific place, and from there you get all some relevant details which you want to capture. Generally people would either send it via an MOM to the relevant stakeholders, or they might keep it with themselves. But here we have an option of logging it, the details. Let's say there was a scheduled hearing, I can maintain details over here. If I want to attach any attachments, I can simply attach from here itself. If there is an order which has been received, I can simply upload an order, so the notice will get automatically closed. All the relevant documents pertaining to those specific notices, you will be able to get it from the documents section itself. From here, one I would say a limitation of the GST portal is that if there is a change or a shift into the stage of the notice from ASMT to DRC, there is no current linkage available from the GST portal. So we have a unique case ID assignment functionality available, wherein you can simply either generate a new case ID, or you can simply assign an existing unique ID to that notice in order to maintain the entire chronology or the trail of the notice. So right from ASMT 10 to the Supreme Court, the entire chain of events and the entire notice management timelines can be viewed from the view notice timelines if we are tagging the unique case IDs as well. So this is how you will be able to see the entire notice tree structure from here itself. We have multiple different filters, options, like downloading the details and everything available from here itself. Um, you know, I'm sure that if an organization is not using any litigation management tool, they might be maintaining details in an Excel sheet. So we also have an option of uploading the existing open notices into the platform from here itself. Again, you have an option of uploading via PDF copy or an Excel sheet. A defined format has been made available over here itself. You simply need to download and upload the data set into here. Or if you upload a PDF, the system will automatically pick up the details from the PDF copy, and you will be able to see all the relevant details from here itself. With the interest of time, I'll quickly move to the dashboards and everything. We also have PPR analysis. We also have contingent liability reports and everything available. So from here, once you click on this PPR analysis, you will be able to see the entire PPR analysis history as well, what has been logged and what has been changed. From here itself, if you want to also edit a litigation, if you want to change the status or anything, you can simply make the changes from here itself. If you want to download the details, you can simply download all the relevant details in an Excel file. If you want to update the status of the notice, you can simply create it from here itself. We have a very wonderful dashboard. And again, thanks to Samil Bhai and team for guiding us. We have this litigation management dashboard available, wherein you will be able to see a calendar view of the upcoming, various events of the notices. So whether it is a notice due date, hearing due date, any new notice happening soon. So all those relevant details will be made available over here. One of the major challenge that today any taxpayer would have is a fear of missing on the due dates. So we have various notification and alerts available, which ensures you get timely notifications. If you want to see any new critical events happening, let's say if there is new appeal filing due date in the upcoming days, you will be able to see in the critical event section. You will be able to see notice type wise statuses of all the notices. What is the status, or how many notices are under active stage of my summons application for refund and all the relevant details. You will be able to see highest amount of demands for which GST and ID, what is the amount and what is the number of notices we have received. You can see the overall issue wise status of the count of issue wise status from here itself. If you want to see any new notice which has been received in the next in the first or the earlier 24 hours or within 7 days, you will be able to see it from here itself. um, the location wise status you will be able to see over here, GSTN wise, how many notices are active, how many has been replied, how many notices are in the due date lapsed category. You have statute wise notice types as well. Then we have a litigation map available, wherein you can simply view on for which state what is the total number of notices and what is the total number of amount. Again, all the relevant details or anything that you see, you will be able to filter out both for demand as well as for refunds. So you can simply view the details from here itself. We also have an option of downloading the entire dashboard in an Excel form as a summary level, which you can apply and share it with your management team. You also have an option of filter routing various data sets before you want to view a dashboard. We also have a robust and a very effective notification management setting available specifically for the litigation management module, wherein you can configure within the system how many reminders do you want, and before or prior to how many days you actually want to start receiving notices or notifications, sorry, notifications of, let's say, if there is a hearing due date on 1st of October, and if you want to get the reminders 10 days prior every alternate day on a daily basis, all those configurations and everything can be done from the notification settings which is there into the application itself. So this was a very high level demo which I wanted to actually walk you through. Yeah, Hardik, any
Thank you,
specific
Bala.
thing you want me to highlight, or you
No,
can
Bala,
take it
this
ahead?
was perfect. Thank you so much. So, due to the paucity of time, we'll quickly take two questions that we have been asked. One is for Sudhir sir. Sir, this is related to the same reference that you have given earlier. So, how is GST 80 structured benches, single member bench, division, and how are the territorial jurisdiction and venue determined?
I think I broadly covered this. It is going to be a geographical, which is going to be notified when the multiple area bench is there. Otherwise, each state will go to that particular jurisdiction.
Sure, sir. Next one is for Ashish sir. Sir, does the e-filing form flow will look like the same which we have for the first appellate tribunal now, or there are any changes in the form that we have to follow when appealing on the GST 80 portal?
Hardik, so first of all, government is going to have a separate portal for GSTAT, which will be different from the existing GST portal what is being used. So entire navigation, login, credential, everything would be independent. Second, if you look at this recent amendments, whatever notifications have come, changes have been introduced in the appeal form for whatever is to be filed before GSTAT. So if, let us say, your issue involve 5 different type of issues, one could be reconciliation, other could be an ITC, third could be classification and all those things. So one has to give, I would say, in the summary form, each issue wise a brief summary of 1000 words, what is the amount involved at the first stage, what was adjudicated, how much amount at the first appeal stage, and finally for how much amount you are going to file before the tribunal. So this form is very bulky, wherein various informations are required to be given by a taxpayer. I'm not talking of all the grounds, legal submission, and all those things. That would certainly be at the later stage. So certainly, like what I think very beautiful, wonderful software what Pallav has right now displayed this thing. So gradually, if we can integrate possibly all these information, what would be required for GSTAT filing, wherein various information can be pulled out of my past litigation database, which can automatically fill up the new APL form to be filed before the state in terms of all the information compilation. That could certainly make the task easier for the, I think, people like Somil Bhai, where he has been day and night handling so many cases, and probably while we are speaking, he is also moving to department to handle some or other case itself. So that is how this entire filing is going to be there before the GSTAT.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So, for others who we were not able to take up the question, we'll follow up with the write-up answers. Thank you so much for joining us today. Big thank you to our panel for sharing such a valuable insights and perspective. I hope today's discussion gave you a fresh perspective on managing more litigation and defending every claim in a far more aggressive landscape. We'll be sharing the recording of these sessions with you shortly. If you'd like to connect with us, please write to events.relations@segment.one and don't forget to follow Segment One on LinkedIn for updates, insight, and future events. Thank you once again for everyone and wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much.